It's Nintendo Direct time. Let's get hyped, shall we? Hey guys, what's going on? Justin Masson here with Nintendo Dads, and we are just a little over 12 hours away from the September Nintendo Direct. Now, this is the Direct that was scheduled for last week, however, was delayed due to the earthquakes in Japan. Interestingly enough, Nintendo has actually given us a lot of information in the last 24 hours that we potentially were expecting to see in the Direct. So first and foremost, the Nintendo Direct online service will be coming online on September 18th and September 19th, respectively based on your time zones. For me, it's the 19th, nice early in the morning. So I'll just let the system update, will be just fine. Now, interestingly enough, they've also mentioned that they will offer a 7-day free trial of the Nintendo Switch online service. This is interesting. We'll see how many people try it out for 7 days and then decide to subscribe. I'd love to see what the attachment rate is, but a great opportunity for Nintendo to kind of say, by the way, you get an extra couple days, give it a shot, see what you think, and subscribe. A couple other things that are floating out there that we don't really necessarily know about. We know the first 10 NES Classic games have been announced, but we don't know the other 10 is. Nintendo still has to tell us that. Also, information has been leaking out this week about the cloud saves and that only specific games actually, the cloud savings are only allowed on specific games. Now, this was known before, but there was no real details, and we assumed it was probably some indie developers who didn't want it on their games. We're actually seeing some larger games, such as Splatoon 2 and Let's Go Eevee and Let's Go Pikachu, not including it. Now, Nintendo's response to this is very simple. We want to avoid cheaters. If you're playing Splatoon 2 and you have a rank of S, and all of a sudden you lose a match, and you lose a rank down, why should you be able to refresh or pull back your old save file, and therefore those interactions never occurred and your rank is still the same? And obviously with the Pokemon Company and Pikachu and Eevee, if I trade something, I can kind of like recycle my old save and get it back. So really what they're trying to do is actually mitigate cheating. I believe you can probably find a better way of doing this, but that's their own decision. So that's come out. So expect a little bit more information about the cloud savings coming up soon as well. Another thing that Nintendo released is also that the Nintendo firmware 6.0 update will also be occurring. Now, this isn't a huge shock. And by the way, it's occurring September 18th as the online service is coming. Probably the firmware and then the online service will come on. This isn't a huge shock. We knew that Nintendo Switch Online probably needed some back-end hooks, back-end changes to make the system and the infrastructure work. Therefore, we needed the 6.0 update. These rumors had been there before. Now, the real question for us is Nintendo doing anything else? Or is it solely just putting in the infrastructure and firmware for the Nintendo Switch Online? You know, here's a button here, here's how you register for it, here's how you pay for it. I suspect there is more under the hood than we actually think. Personally, I'm hoping for some maybe some message service or something connected so that we can get quick messages if need be. I'm hoping for some folders, some banners, whatever you want to make it, right? Savers, screensavers, whatever you want to call it, right? I'm hoping that that information is there also. So we don't, again, have all that information, but I anticipate they'll be covering some of that as well. And then, of course, we actually have the Direct. Now, here's what I suspect we're actually going to see in the Direct. I suspect we're actually going to be seeing a little bit more into the 2019 calendar than we all actually think. Nintendo is fantastic for the crafting on their Directs and their PR releases. Typically, they'll say the games you're playing in the next 6 months or in 2018. This one isn't actually open. There's no definitive time on the announcement. So I do suspect you're going to be looking into 2019 games. And here's what I do suspect. We will be seeing a update on the Yoshi's Crafty World. Now, we saw that announcement last week. Or sorry, not the announcement, the leak last week of the title. So we will see an information in that. What the theory is, at least, is that we may get a little bit more of a longer look, potentially Q1 or Q2 look into some of the first-party title games that Nintendo has. This could be potentially Animal Crossing and Pikmin 4. Animal Crossing fans, take a breath, temper your expectations. I just don't want to be the person who makes you feel like I promised it never happened, all right? So just simmer, all right? Just simmer. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. I also suspect we will get at least one Smash Brothers roster player announcement. This will probably be near the end of it as one of those "and one more thing" statements as well. Now, a lot of information has already come out throughout the week. So we had the Mega Man 11 demo came out. We had the Final Fantasy Pocket edition was announced. Square made some more announcements about games as well, bringing the Switch. So a lot of information has kind of come out in the last week. So that information may be retouched on in this Direct, giving more firm dates and information. But there's a lot of information that Nintendo has the opportunity to cover. They've also really cleaned up the slate of all the Nindies and Indies and mobile content that we had kind of received over the last month. So this is not going to be focused on those small itty bitty games. This is going to be focused on major, big, third-party and first-party games coming to either the 3DS or Nintendo Switch. Guys, I'm hyped. We are just over 12 hours away from the Nintendo Direct. We're going to break it down, of course, on the podcast, as we always do. But guys, thanks very much for tuning in. Now, of course, let me know in the comments below, what are you hyped for? What are you super excited for? What do you hope is there? And what is your wild card? Please, 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 fingers crossed, let it be there. If there's any good praying to the Nintendo God, it will be there. Guys, thanks for tuning in to Nintendo Dads. And while you're here, if you can, hit that subscribe button. We would always appreciate it. All right? Take care. Bye-bye.